Between both teams, Canada and Switzerland. Herzlich willkommen in der Bundesarena zum zweiten Halbfinale der Weltmeisterschaften Ballhockey 2024 in Visp und Raron zwischen den Mannschaften Kanada und die Schweiz. Ohne Partner sind Sponsoren und Ballhockey in Visp und Raron. Daher ein großes Dankeschön an unsere unterstützenden Vereine und Gemeinden und Firmen, Gemeinde Visp, Gemeinde Raron, LGAG Visp, Lötterzone, Life Systems, Metzgereizone, Ochsterhocker AG, Sickerbau AG, Volkergroup, die Walliser Landbahn und die Arena. Herzlichen Dank für eure Unterstützung. Today's game will be led by both referees, Martin Czerny and Miguel Zahora. Video goal judges Peter Risco. And now follows the lineup of Team Canada. Team Canada with coach Jason Cormier. In goal, number 1, Visp and Raron. 23, Shane Mann. 3, Dylan Churchill. 24, Bill Marshall. 16, Noah Davis. Herzlich willkommen und heute wollen wir seine Unterstützer.
Here we go at the 2024 ISBHF World Ball Hockey Championships. The second and final of the men's semifinal matchup between the hometown Switzerland team, wearing white with black shorts, facing off against the #1 seed Canada in all black. A lot of fans in attendance here cheering on Switzerland. They've really been the story of the tournament. Canada the #1 seed, Switzerland the #6 seed. Switzerland ended up coming back against Greece after being down 2-0 and winning that game 3-2. Canada taking care of business against Finland yesterday to advance to this semifinal game. Expecting a very loud crowd in attendance here, cheering on the Swiss team. As we're just about ready for the draw, Switzerland led in scoring by a couple of players, Mario Paulik and Yannick Muller. Canada led by Josh Anderson and Noah Lemos, and we are underway. As always, be sure to head over to stats.isbhf.com to get your stats as Canada dumps the ball into the Switzerland zone. I'm your play-by-play announcer, Chris Baconowitz. Happy to have you with us here. Beautiful and warm Friday evening here in Visp, Switzerland. Looking forward to this matchup between the hometown Swiss and Team Canada. Switzerland, one of the youngest teams in the tournament. Canada, a very veteran squad. The defending world champions. Going to be tough. Tough sledding for Switzerland against Canada here. Not to say they can't win. They absolutely are capable of winning this game. It could go either way. But as a young, relatively inexperienced team going up against a veteran team like Canada, who has been in this position before, Switzerland's going to need to limit the mental mistakes as the ball skirts out towards center zone here, picked up by Switzerland. Player loses their footing. Battle for it along the far boards, picked up by Canada. Sent in back behind the Swiss zone. As we get a flooring call here. Canada has looked strong virtually all of the tournament. As I mentioned, they are the #1 seed coming out of the men's A1 pool. The winner of this game will face the Czech Republic, who you just saw defeat the United States 7-1 in the other semifinal matchup. The United States will play the loser of this game in the bronze medal. That shot is blocked by Switzerland, and they look to gain the Canadian zone. They do. Shot on net, handled by Christian Lanton. Switzerland takes it back into their zone. In net for Switzerland, Yannick Messer. He's been solid throughout this tournament, as has Lanton. So for both teams, you know, I think the keys to victory here for Switzerland, you got a young team, they're very fast. Not size-wise, not as big as Canada, but certainly faster, I would say. They're going to need to use that speed to their advantage. Try and get a lot of balls deep, get a good forecheck going. And as I mentioned, limit mental mistakes, right, against the veteran Canada squad, as that play is offsides. For Canada, they're the defending champs. They've been here before. They know what it takes to win. They've got to be sharp in their outlet passes. They've got to make sure that when they try and move the ball through the neutral zone, they don't give the Swiss any opportunities with turnovers. And the main thing really for Canada is to continue to fire the ball on net. They have a lot of scorers on this team. They know how to put the ball in the net, as their fastest player, Trevor Mainman, circles in on net. Shot, save. Do we have a goal? Wait. Canada signaling that they have a goal. I believe the referee's going to go to video review here. From my vantage point up in the bird box, it looked like that was saved. So we are going to go to a video review here. 12:43 left in the opening draw. Mainman showing the speed Went right around the Swiss defender. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of limiting mental mistakes, right? Make sure you have the right angle on the play there. Don't let a guy walk in all alone on your netminder. See main man here gets the shot off. See the initial save, and then the net gets dislodged. There's the save. The net gets dislodged. I mean, to me, that does not look like a goal because the net was dislodged and then the ball went across the line. However, I'm not a rules expert. That's why we have referees down on the floor. See what the call is. No goal. So Switzerland dodges an early bullet on the hustle play by main man. Sure, a veteran squad like Canada will just shake that off and put it behind them. Just continue try to get balls on net here. Sent up along the near boards, picked up by Byrne. Swiss have been aggressive on the forecheck all throughout this tournament here. They have forced a lot of neutral zone turnovers. It's just going to be something Canada needs to keep an eye on as Raji gets it in deep. Sent there through the zone, but nobody to receive it. Switzerland now trying to advance the ball into the Canadian zone. They gain the zone. Back to the point. Dumped in, but batted down by main man. Still out on the floor. Now here's a break for Laframboise. Shot! Good save. Yannick Messer gets a piece of that and deflects it up into the mesh netting. Canada with a couple of early opportunities here on this young Swiss team. Canada gets wholesale line changes. White's going to come out and take the draw. Got Churchwell behind him, along with Cade Maher at the point. Face off, picked up by the Swiss, behind the net. Rattled towards the far boards, and then outlet pass. Swiss coached by 2024 ISBHF Hall of Fame inductee, Tibor Kapanik. He's just done an outstanding job coaching this young team. Turnaround shot on Lanton, easily handled. He's going to get a whistle. Was very emotional yesterday in their quarterfinal win over Greece. They were down 2-0, but they kept battling. You know, they kept getting balls deep, and they won a couple of battles and tied it up. And then late in the game, ended up getting the game winner on a blast from the far circle. Held off a furious Greece counterattack. Deflected on net, and Lanton finds it up over him. Hands the ball to the referee. Smart play by Switzerland there, right? Just throw the ball on net. Hey, you never know what's going to happen. As number 27, Max Mueller, will take the draw for Switzerland. One back by Canada. Both players blow a tire, picked up by Switzerland. Hemmed it along the boards, trying to walk it out. Can't. Centering attempt. Finally corralled up by Canada, sent down deep by Marshall. Intercepted by the Swiss. Tipped up and out of play, and the faceoff will come out to the neutral zone with 11:11 remaining here in the first period. So the Czech Republic, I see a lot of their players in attendance here, along with the coaching staff, doing some scouting, as obviously they will play the winner of this game after having beaten the United States 7-1 in the first semifinal game. After this, we have the women's gold medal game, the United States and the Czech Republic. So congrats to the Czech Republic, both teams making it to the gold medal game. Waffled down by Lanton, picked up by Switzerland. Levaye bodies the player along the boards. Back behind the net. Chance for Switzerland walking it all alone. Good hustle play by Levaye to get back and get a stick on that. Deflected it up into the mesh netting. And Switzerland's going to get some line changes here. So Canada's leading scorer, the centerman Josh Anderson, will take the draw here for Canada against number 39, Jan Bardos for Switzerland. One back by Bardos, and then batted into the Canadian bench. We'll get a face-off right back at the same spot. Face-off. Not won by either team. Ball loose in a couple of feet there, picked up by the Swits. Centering attempt, nobody there to receive it. Long shot off the boards, easily sticked into the corner by Lanton. Picked up by Ken Mueller. Mueller battling Nixon. Nixon wins that battle. Rifles it around to the near boards. Pinched by the Swiss defense. Levaye battling. Ball hits the referee, skirts out of Switzerland. Shot right into the glove of Lanton. Oh, Canada dodges an early bullet here. Unfortunate for them, that ball just hit the referee's foot, stopped dead in its track. Ended up getting picked up by number 7-8, Robert Philippe's been one of the better players for Switzerland. As you can see on the replay there, Lanton just gloving that. Face off one back by the Canadians. Trying to make a move, wheel and deal out of the zone. They do, over to Lawrence. Dump towards the net, turn around by the captain, Mileno. Bounces wide, center attempt. Mileno can't get the shot off, intercepted by the Swiss. Deflected up towards the neutral zone. Dumped in deep. Lanton comes out to play it. Up along the boards, over to Byrne. Byrne with it. Into the Swiss zone comes Canada. Center attempt wide. Both teams battling for position back behind the net. Picked up by Switzerland. 2-on-2 coming up for the Swiss here. Long shot wide. Swiss player comes off the floor now. Shot, save Lanton. Rebound cleared to the back by Canada. Switzerland showing some good hustle there. As that ball goes up out of play. See where the face-off ends up. Going to be back deep in the Canadian zone here with 9:19 remaining in the first period, 0-0. Good look at the net there for Switzerland. Lanton solid so far. One by Swiss, long shot, hit a leg, goes into the corner. Picked up by main man, batted back in by the Swiss. Centering attempt, rolls through, poked out by Canada. Main man giving chase. Got to be careful with him. He's got wheels, trying to walk it in all alone. Main man over the net. Broken up by the Swiss, but now main man corrals it back. Centering attempt, shot score! Just like that, Canada goes up 1-0. Main man handed it over to Josh Laflambois, who went top shelf on Yannick Messer to give Canada a lead, 1-0. Well, that's how quickly things can change, right? Seemed like the Swiss had the momentum there, had some sustained attack zone time, and all it took was one counterattack for Canada to bury that. So main man, the lone assist on the goal by Laframboise. See there on the replay, just went top shelf right over the shoulder. Nothing Messer can do on that as Canada regains his own. Center attempt shot. I believe Messer got a piece of that off of the stick of Magnus. Canadian player loses their footing, steps back up. It's Burkett. Burkett with it. Over to Magnus, back to the point. Long shot in, deflected by Burkett behind the net. Burkett now trying to poke it through. Nobody there to receive it. Swiss send it back behind the net. As we see chants of Hop Schries breakout. That has been the Switzerland chant all week. Hop Schries. Switzerland now patient with the ball through the neutral zone. Looking to get a cycle going. Long shot from the point. Goes wide. Centering attempt intercepted by the Swiss. Chipped out by Canada. Levaille over to Mocan. They have the zone. Mocan with it. Mocan mishandles it. Sends it towards the near boards. Picked up by Filipek. Sends it across the floor as Switzerland gets some line changes here. Dumped up along the far boards, chipped in. Switzerland will give chase. Beaten to it is Mitchell Byrne. Ball skirts all the way out of the Canadian zone, back down to the Switzerland zone. They'll corral it, send it around the boards, back up, trying to get in the Canadian zone. They do, but intercepted by Canada. Now intercepted by Switzerland. Poke check away. Mueller has it. Takes it back behind the red line. Ends up getting it poked off his stick. Back to Canada. That's going to roll all the way in there on Yannick Messer. So he'll just smother that for a whistle. With 6:23 remaining here in the opening draw. Canada up 1-0. Josh Laframboise, top shelf on the assist by Trevor Mainman. Arguably the fastest player in the tournament. There might be a player on Switzerland, maybe Great Britain. Could be faster, but if there's a foot race, it's going to be close. You're going up against Mainman. Face off one back by the Canadians. Shot gets deflected wide. Back behind the net. Digging forward is Canada. Trying to gain possession. Trying to walk it out in front. Backhand attempt. Good stop by Messer. Soft clear. Kept it at the point. Mainman. Up along the boards. Canada with it. Trying to walk it in. Intercepted by the Swiss. Canada back on the back check here. As Switzerland gets some line changes. Picked up by Churchwell. Sent towards the far boards. Mainman's there. Mainman. Got that long reach. Tough to get the ball away. Mainman walks it in. Backhand attempt just goes wide. And he'll finally go off for a change. Switzerland hemmed it in their own zone here as Canada gets aggressive on the forecheck. Two Canadian players there. They steal the ball. Centering pass. No, chose not to shoot there. That shot goes wide, and now Messer will just get a whistle and let his team get reset here. Canada had some heavy pressure. 5:14 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 Canada. I thought Laframboise, the goal scorer, was going to try and roof that backhander, but decided to pass it. As you see Mainman here walk it out with that reach and try and stuff it backhand, but Messer had it blocked the whole way. Face-off picked up by the Swiss. Intercepted by Canada. Shot. Save. Kind of a cockeyed shot there. It was redirected, but ended up getting redirected in a different direction on net. As Switzerland now trying to get some numbers. Shot in on Lanton. Just uses his chest protector to steer the rebound to his defenseman. Poked out by Canada. White with it. White trying to crash the net. Both players lose footing. White comes away with it. White looking for passing lane here. Somehow makes it through onto the stick of J.P. Mocan. Mocan tries a centering attempt. Looking to hit Kyler Nixon streaking towards the net. Now back on the stick of the Swiss. Rifled along the near boards. Switzerland gains the zone in on Lanton, and he's going to cover that for a whistle. 4:03 remaining in the opening period. Switzerland has had a couple of good chances, as has Canada. But right now the difference is Josh Laframboise was able to bury one of those chances. Face off, one back by Canada, banked off the boards up to Levaye. Very large gentleman, physically strong. Unbelievably quick wrist shot. One of their trigger men on the point. As Anderson whiffed on that, trying to advance it up to himself. And now Anderson gets it, 2-on-1 with Levaye. Shot, score! Carl Levaye makes it 2-0 Canada, and just like that, the Swiss find themselves in a hole. That's what veteran teams do, right? They've been in this situation before. They don't panic. They see opportunities. They make sure they get balls on net. And in the case of someone like Carl Levaye, you know, how are you supposed to stop that, right? I mean, the pass is right on the tape. All Levaye had to do was put that top shelf, which he did, and there's just nothing Yannick Messer can do. Well, we have a whistle now as we're checking for offsides. Okay, so they were checking for offsides. Good goal. Well, Switzerland has found themselves in a few holes in this tournament. This is not new territory to them as they walk it in on Lanton, and Lanton stuffs the corner. They were down 3-1 against the Czechs. They ended up coming back 3-3, took the Czechs to a shootout, ended up losing in the shootout. And then in the quarterfinals, they were down against Greece 2-0, ended up coming back winning that game 3-2. So don't count them out. 3:13 remaining in the opening period here. Face off, one back by Canada. Mileno couldn't get the shot off, now gets it. Shot, save, loose. Switzerland trying to stick hand out of trouble and ends up in the Swiss bench. Grabbed by head coach Tibor Kapanik. Mileno lining up to take the draw here against Ken Mueller. One back by Canada, all the way to Byrne. Long shot, high. Rebound, deflected behind the net. Picked up by the Swiss. Player is knocked down. Swiss fans screaming for a call there. Just good hockey. Zone gain. Long wrist shot goes wide. Switzerland back to the point. Long wrist shot hits Lanton right in the chest. Rebound comes out in front and ends up getting kicked into the corner. Switzerland with possession now. All the way back to Eberle. Blocked. Good job there on the block by Noah Lemos, one of Canada's leading scorers. Main man with it. Tries a centering attempt. And we're going to get a penalty here against the Swiss. Canada shot wide. Refs will blow this one here. Slashing. Well, 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in the opening period here. And now the Swiss have got to kill this penalty. keep this a 2-goal game. You've heard me say it all week, folks, if you've been tuning into the broadcast, right? The 2-goal lead, what is it? It's the worst lead in sports. So Switzerland not out of this, but this is a lethal Canadian power play. See Nixon out there along with Remy Lawrencel, about to take the draw behind him. Mylino, Holmes, one back. Ends up on the stick of Mylino. So Eberle, 2 minutes for slashing. Dropped it down low towards net. Banked up back to the point, over to Mylino. Takes a shot over to Holmes. Holmes has an absolute howitzer. Mylino over to Holmes. If Mylino can put that on the tape. There's a shot. Oh, what a stop! Boy, that's the type of save that can give your team confidence there. Yannick Messer sliding across, gets the pad there. Referee providing instructions here on the draw. Switzerland corrals it up. They're going to be able to get the clear here. Goes all the way in towards Landon. Stops it for Mylino. Minute 30 left in the period. Minute 20 left on the power play. So there's an 8-second difference between power play and the period. Mylino gains the line. Over to Nixon. Over to Holmes. Gotta watch out for Holmes. That shot. Good block by Mylino on the attempted clear. Over to Holmes. Shot. Just wide. Nixon over to Holmes. Shot wide. Well, that guy's got a cannon. Mylino over to Holmes again. Shot just wide. Trying to feed him. Back to Nixon. Over to Holmes. Shot. Pad save. Nice job, Messer. As Switzerland will get the clear here with 25 seconds left on the man advantage, 30 seconds left on the power play. Mylino's going to leave that off for Lemos. Lemos over to Mocan. 17 seconds left, back to Lemos. Long wrist shot, high off the mesh netting that covers a portion of the glass, so the faceoff will come back down deep into the Switzerland zone here with 9.6 remaining in the period. 2 seconds left on the man advantage, and the penalty on Eberle. Switzerland is at even strength now. They try and eat this along the boards. They'll be able to do it. So they'll head to the break down 2-0. Good first period for Canada. 10-minute break between period, folks. We'll be back here to bring you the start of the action at the second. Canada leading Switzerland 2-0.
dein Traum wahr werden. Wird zum Profi. ochsnerhockey.ch
All right, welcome back, hockey fans. Second period action about to start here between Canada in black and Switzerland in white. Canada up 2-0. Switzerland has certainly had their share of opportunities as well, just been unable to capitalize like Canada has. Ball is dumped in deep to the Swiss zone. Just to recap the scoring, Josh Laframboise opened it up on an assist by Trevor Mainman. As the shot goes wide. Levaye picks it up. Got to be careful with him. Shot. Oh, what a stop. Mocan. Shot. Blocked. Back to Levaye. Over to Mocan. Blocked again. Mocan still patient with the ball, looking for something to do with it. Rolls away from his stick. Now at the point. Mocan. Over to Levaye. Glove down. Into the corner. Picked up by Canada. Anderson had it, then lost it momentarily. We hear chants of Hop Shrees break out from the large hometown crowd in attendance. They love their Swiss ball hockey club here, I'll tell you. Centering attempt by Canada right into the glove of the Swiss netminder Yannick Messer. So just to finish up the scoring, Josh Laframboise got the first goal, assisted by Trevor Mainman. And then Carl Levaye ended up putting the second one in the net, assisted by Josh Anderson and JP Mocan. Saves so far, Christian Lanton for Canada has made 8 saves. Yannick Messer has made 10 saves on 12 shots. As the ball stays in the Swiss zone here, Canada with some sustained pressure now for well over a minute. Swiss got to be careful. Doing a good job of clogging the passing lanes, making sure they're staying with their men down here. So into the far corner. Sent back behind the net. Switzerland finally gains possession. High lob. Down deep, and that ends up in the Swiss bench. And then we'll get a face-off back down low. So Mainman is out there with Laframboise. He's got Lamoche behind him, along with number 71, Mitchell Byrne, to his left. Trying to get a read on that number there. That's Sophia Raji. Face off, picked up by the Swiss. Chipped up high, batted forward out of the zone. Canada hustles back, Laframboise. Centering attempt, offsides Canada, but picked up by Switzerland. Poke check back into the Swiss zone. Mainman with it. Swiss now looking to get a counterattack going, fire it in around the boards. Picked up by Switzerland for 3 men here to get a shot on net. Ball goes off of a foot on a stick of Canada. But be careful now here. Lamoche looking for space, broken up. Good back check on the play by Switzerland. Long outlet pass. Picked up by Fina. Fina still with it. Fina still wheeling and dealing. Now it's poke checked away from him onto the stick of Lamos. And then chipped up out of the zone, running for it is Mainman. Mainman bodied hard into the boards. This player takes a tumble. And now the Swiss pick it up, get through the zone. Ball gets caught up in the foot there of number 95, Antoine Grandjean. Set back behind the net. Canada looking to get a breakout going here. Centered up, Burkett fires it in. Comes along the near boards, taken up by Magnus. Nice move, down low over to White. White trying to get it back to Magnus. A little too quick there. Burkett with it, centering to Magnus. Shot, save. Is the referee signaling a goal? I heard a whistle. No, no goal. No goal. Okay. Going to be a crease violation here as he's given explanation to White for Canada. See if we can see this on the replay here. Anderson now asking for an explanation from the ref. So Anderson, Levaye, and Mocan come out. Ready for the draw. Long shot. Batted up into the glass. So there, the ball was loose, and then it somehow ended up in the back of the net. It looked like it got kicked into the back of the net, but irrespective, it's a crease violation, so no goal. Levaye picks it up. Centering attempt goes off of a foot onto the stick of the Swiss. The Swiss trying to use this speed to their advantage now. Poke back up into Anderson. Now onto the stick of Levaye. He's got Mocan streaking, trying to feed him. Blocked by the Swiss player. Levaye trying to use the body over to Mocan. Shot scored! JP Mocan makes it 3-0 Canada. Boy, it seems like they just got shooters at every position. So tough to stop when they have space. They're just so good at picking spots. This is another goal. I just can't fault Messer on any of these goals. You know, Mocan from just that, effectively the face-off circle there. You see the play by Levaye, right? So drops it off. Mocan is head up the whole way and just put that in a spot where nobody's going to stop that, right? Between the glove and the helmet. So Mocan and Levaye both with a couple of points on the day here. And it looks like Switzerland's going to make a goaltending change here. Hey, listen, as I said, you can't fault the Swiss netminder, Yannick Messer, on that. You know, head coach Tibor Kapanik obviously just trying to get a spark going for his team here, right? They, for lack of a better term, they're overwhelmed right now by Canada, you know? Switzerland, a young team. This is the first time they've made the semifinals in modern ball hockey history. Really since 2001 when there's only 8 teams in the tournament, as they get a break going the other way. Ooh, that shot just missed high and wide over Lanton's shoulder. So let's see how they respond. Pad save by Lanton. He's going to smother that one up. So in net now is Kilian Ziorgin for Switzerland. Face off one back by Canada, lobbed outlet pass. Switzerland tries to play it back into the zone. Forced back in deep by Canada. Oh, bad chip there by the Swiss defenseman. Got to be careful, trying to stick handle through traffic. Centered up, and then immediately poke checked away. Good read on the play there from Tyler Nixon of Canada. Up to the captain, Mileno. Going to backhand that end of the zone. That's going to end up as a flooring call. With 9 minutes, 31 seconds remaining here in the second period, Swiss find themselves in a hole. 3-0 against the defending champion, Canada. A lot of returning players on this roster. Just a really veteran roster. Well represented all across the various provinces of Canada. I mean, quite literally from coast to coast. You got people from British Columbia all the way to Newfoundland. And just about everywhere in between, you know, Manitoba, Alberta, Quebec, Ontario. That's kept in at the point. Long shot, high off the boards. Picked up by the Swiss behind the net. Trying to make something happen here. Walk it out in front. Poke checked away by Holmes. Back to Switzerland. Over to Grandjean from the point. Wrist shot deflected wide by Canada. Centering attempt, poke checked away by Canada. This is one of the things Switzerland has to learn, right? You got to put passes in a spot where you can lead where the player is going, because if they have to stop and try to receive that pass, you're going to see exactly what Canada is doing. They're going to get a stick on it. They're just going to clog a passing lane. Kept in at the point. Switzerland trying to get a look at the net here. Shot goes high and wide. Defenseman pinches, misses. Now potential break for Canada. Switzerland hustling back. Main man trying to make a move. Shot, score, backhand. Top shelf, Trevor Mainman. His second assist of the day. Or pardon me, his second point of the day, his first goal. Guy's just got wheels and a mustache to match. He really is something special when he starts flying down that wing. With that reach, the speed, just tough to stop. See here on the replay. So Mainman waits till the Swiss player commits, pulls it back to his backhand, and then just roofs it right over the glove. And that's a veteran player making a great move. Here he is again. Mainman scores again. 5-0. Using his wheels, this time on the forehand. Well, the Swiss just have no answer right now. No answer. Trying to go over there and console the replacement netminder, Killian Zorgen. I mean, you know, the Swiss defender, you know, thought he had the right angle, but just not used to the speed of someone like Trevor Mainman, right? As we get a timeout here. 30-second timeout. See on the feed here, head coach Tibor Kapanik trying to rally the troops. And again, this is a young team, right? You know, so one of the benefits of having a young team, you know, oftentimes is, you know, they just don't appreciate the magnitude of the situation, right? Like they're in the semifinals of the World Ball Hockey Championships. It's a young roster, was overhauled, you know, if they're being pragmatic about things, you know, they may not have seen themselves getting here. Obviously, these are all elite players. They knew they're capable of winning games, but, you know, when you have a young roster, people haven't played together a long time like Canada has, you know, you just don't know what to expect, you know, so here they are. And that lack of experience, you know, I just got to be frank, it's hurting them against a team like Canada. Now, the positive for this, right, is you're a young team, so you don't know what you don't know. So they're not going to look at this like, oh, well, you know, it's 5-0, might as well just pack it in and, you know, give up the rest of the game here, as Lanton almost misplayed that, went off of a foot into the corner, fed up to Levaye. Young team's just going to say, listen, it's 5-0. All we can do is just play hard, keep running, right? Just get balls at the net, and just do the best we can, right? You know, we ain't going to get 5 on one shift, so just try and get 1. Win your individual battles. As the shot is deflected there, rebound deflected. I guess what I'm trying to say to sum it up is the Swiss are just not going to roll over and die here. Long shot from the point, handled by Lanton into the corner. Picked up by Mocan. Over to Levaye, dumped in. Intercepted by the Swiss. 6 minutes, 50 seconds remaining here. Along the far boards. Switzerland looking for an outlet pass. Levaye just calmly waiting in the Swiss zone. Switzerland finally gains the Canadian zone, but immediately surrounded by 2 Canadian players. Errant pass goes off of the foot. Now Canada back on the counterattack. Here comes Holmes. Drops it off for Kelly. Over to Levaye. Shot blocked. .6:13 remaining. Switzerland finding themselves with a deep hole to get out of here, down 5-0 against the defending champion Canada in the second and final of the men's semifinals. Earlier you saw the United States hang with the Czech Republic. It was 2-1 going into the third, and then the Czech Republic just ultimately pulled away as Canada steals the ball here, walks in all alone. Good save. I have to say, that Czech Republic team, they are large gentlemen. They are physical. They are not afraid to bang, and they are all but impossible to get off the ball. You know, but this is a Swiss team, right, that took them to a shootout. So, you know, they're certainly beatable. I'm just saying from the physical attributes. Switzerland breaks in here now. Shot gets deflected by Byrne. Switzerland trying to walk in a shot off the back of the net. Wraparound attempt goes wide. This is good hustle by Swiss, right? You're down 5-0 and just keep firing, man. That's all you can do. Cross floor pass. Errant. Picked up by Switzerland. Good drive by Siafo there. Drops it back to the point. Long shot. Ooh, that just missed. You know, and you see here with Canada, right? So facing a team that has a lot of speed and a lot of youth and a lot of energy, you know, one of the ways you counter that, right, is you know what you're going to do with the ball well before you get it. You're always scanning the floor, seeing where people are. So when the ball does come to you, you immediately know where you're going to go with it. You don't give the team a chance to use that speed, right, to get a forecheck going on you as Canada goes on the counterattack in the neutral zone. Looking for a trailer. Sends it back behind the net to Laframboise. And we get a whistle here. Referee making a call here. It's the FAR referee cross-checking. Let's see who went on. I didn't see him signal if it was on Switzerland or Canada. Well, they're opening up the Swiss bench, so it's going to be on the Swiss player. This is obviously unfortunate for them. Already down 5-0. Last thing you need to do is take a penalty and end up in the box. See here on the replay. So Canada on the power play. Anderson out there. Mocan. See Lamoche at the point. Laframboise. Back to Levaye. Over to Lamoche. Switzerland has got to kill this. They've just got, this is a, if there was ever a must kill, this is it. Home fans ringing bells, cheering. Try to give the Swiss team some momentum here against this lethal Canada power play. Mocan intercepted. Now Switzerland should be able to get it clear here. They do, all the way in on Lanton. Just play that up to Lemos. Centering attempt off the stick of Laframboise, but Swiss can't clear. Down to Levaye. He's dumping it in down deep. Over to Anderson. Centering attempt, trying to tic-tac-toe, backdoor to Lamache. Wasn't quite crisp enough over to Laframboise. Good stick work by the Swiss, preventing the shot opportunity on McCann. Over to Lamos. Down low, pad save again. That's just how dangerous Canada is. And look at that passing, man. It's just tic-tac-toe, and great save there on the part of the Swiss netminder as he gets a whistle. Killian Georgian. 35 seconds left on the man advantage. Canada going to get some fresh legs out, as will Switzerland. 2:42 remaining in the second period here. Swiss pick it up behind the net, see if they can get a clear out. They're going to try and carry it into the Canadian zone. They don't have numbers here. Long shot, well wide. Picked up by Laurence. Back to Holmes, over to the captain Mileno. Centering attempt, intercepted, poke checked away. And then that is batted into the Canadian bench off the glove of Holmes. With 10 seconds remaining on the man advantage. So hey, if Switzerland could finish killing this, right, maybe they get some momentum, you never know. Not to make a pun out of anything here because we're in the middle of the Swiss Alps, but I mean, is this a tall mountain to climb for the Swiss, you know, out of a 5-0 haul? Yeah, absolutely, right? Let's call it what it is. You know, but it's not impossible. Stranger things have happened in ball hockey. So they have killed the penalty now. Good job for Switzerland. A couple of key saves there by their netminder, and also a couple of key defensive plays with just under 2 minutes remaining here. That's poke checked away by Georgian. Over to the point to Holmes. Holmes looking to unleash that absolute howitzer he got. Chooses to fire a wrister wide. Shot goes over glove of the Canadian player, high in the glass as Laurence was unable to glove that down. Minute 15 remaining. Switzerland trying to use their speed to gain. Crash into the zone. Poke checked away by Canada. Lobbed out of the zone. Flooring is waved off, picked up by Switzerland.
1 minute left in the second period.
Centering attempt. Lanton gets it, plays it around the net. Gathered up by Canada, chipped up out of the zone. We're going to get a flooring call here with about 47 seconds remaining in the second period. Canada leading Switzerland 5-0. Big crowd in attendance here on this Friday night. Beautiful Friday night in Switzerland. Here in the canton of Valais, otherwise known as the Sunshine Canton. They get over 300 days of sunshine here. To give you up to date on some stats here, so Lanton has made 11 saves, pitching the shutout. Yannick Messer left with 13 saves, and then Killian Georgian has made 6 saves. Nice effort there, Switzerland, on the part of Tobias Rodewald. Walked that in and then just threw a quick backhander up into the bread basket, swallowed up by Lanton. Canada getting some changes here, 37.6 seconds left. Ready for the draw. One back by Canada. Oh, intercepted by the Swiss. Lamache didn't feel the pressure there, but able to poke check that up along the boards to Captain Mileno. Now back down as we approach 20 seconds remaining. Over to Byrne. Over to Laurence. Chips it into the Swiss zone. Switzerland trying to get it out of the zone. can't. Mileno still battling there, sends it in down deep. So that should do it. 5 seconds left here. Switzerland will be content to just eat this. Head of their second intermission. So 10-minute break between periods. We'll be back to bring you the action here in the third and final period. Canada all over Switzerland right now, 5-0.
Lass dein Traum wahr werden. Wird zum Profi. ochsnerhockey.ch
And we're back here ready for start of third period action. Final period of our second men's semifinal game. Canada leading against Switzerland. They are shorthanded here for a minute 50 seconds remaining. So Andrew Jake with the penalty, 2 minutes for roughing. Swiss gaining the zone. Long shot, blocked. It goes up into the mesh netting. That went off of the body of Bill Marshall, one of Canada's key penalty killers. Referee ready for the draw, one back by the Swiss all the way to the point. Switzerland working the ball around, trying to find a shooting lane here. Canada clogging them up. Back to the point, over to Tim Mueller, back to Mahmoud. Here's Mahmoud, shot wide. Centering attempt, blocked by Canada. Ball goes out of the zone, Swiss will need to regain it. Try to chip it forward. Intercepted by Canada. See if they can get it out of the zone. Swiss going to be able to keep it. Mahmoud tried to make a pass there. Loses his footing. Shot deflected by Canada. They'll be able to get the clear here with 40 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Well, that's one of the things, you know, young teams, right, need to learn. You just, it's hard to stick handle through people at this level. It really is, right? That's why you don't see it a lot at the NHL. The talent level is so high and the difference is so small in the skill level between the players. As there's 15 seconds left on the man advantage here. Switzerland down low, back to the point to Siafo. Shot from the point, gets deflected again. Good job there by White from Canada. 5 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Another long shot, doesn't make it through, hits a leg, batted back behind the net. Canada back in full strength, over to the point to Siafo. Down low to Burley. Burley, wrist shot blocked by Canada. Good job by Byrne. Now onto the stick of White. Probably trying to get it clear here and get some fresh legs. White still battling. Picked up by Swiss as Canada does get some changes behind the scenes. Switzerland takes it behind their net. .25 remaining here in the final period. Canada in full command of this game, 5-0. Switzerland gains the zone. Thrown in towards net, hit a couple of bodies, deflected into the corner. Long shot from the point, deflected. Back into the corner, chipped up along the boards. Main man has it, gonna turn the Jets on here. Oh, loses it, good stick work there by the Swiss. Wrist shot blocked. Now up to main man. Got to watch the speed here. Main man backhand. Good pad save, Georgian. Switzerland fails to get the clear. Kept in by Canada. Still kept in. Sent down low. Just past main man. Lafreniere picks it up. Goes off of his foot into the corner. Switzerland has it, but that's going to get chipped high up out of the zone. Canada picks it up. Number 24, Bill Marshall has it. Along the near boards. Intercepted by Switzerland, trying a high lob pass out of the zone. And the referee is going to call a change of direction after the player closed their hand around the ball. So for those of you who are not as familiar with ball hockey rules as you are with ice hockey rules, you are allowed to close your hand around the ball, just like in ice hockey you can close your hand around the puck. However, you cannot change direction or advance the ball forward to give yourself momentum. You must bring the ball straight down. And in that case, it was an obvious call for the referee as the ball is fired in behind Lanton. Thus far, pitching a shutout. Just under 11 minutes remaining here. Swiss give chase. Bodies a player off the ball. However, Canada had two on the attack zone there. Shot, oh, good pad save. Raising the left leg off the stick of number 67, Blake Granger. Haven't called his name a lot, more of a role player for Canada, but he certainly contributed to their success. Such a deep Canadian roster. Chip forward by Switzerland. Into the zone. Trying to walk it out in front of Lanton. Loose ball, shot! Lanton doesn't know where it is. The Canadian player down. That's number 3, Dylan Churchwell. Now back on his feet. Lanton had the ball in his glove. Let's take a look at the replay here. Walks it out in front. Lanton goes for the poke check. Missed. Ball squirts loose, and then there's the shot. And I can't tell from the replay there how the ball ended up in Lanton's glove, but irrespective of how it did, it did. And the face-off now in the Canadian zone. One to the side by the Swiss, sent in down low. Picked up by the Swiss, shot. Soft shot on Lanton. Canada might have got a piece on that. Advance forward by Anderson, looking for some help, bodied off the ball, picked up by Worley. And are we gonna get a call here? Is there too many men on the floor? Yes, too many men on the floor. Well, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, that is the 4th too many men on the floor penalty for Switzerland, and that, unfortunately for them, could put them on the penalty kill. It's just another sign of a young team, right? You're all hopped up. There's a lot of energy. You want to get out there and try and help the team, try and contribute, but you just got to be smart with your line changes, right? It's a learning lesson for them. But for Canada, already up 5-0. Just a golden opportunity to completely put this game away. Nixon back to Mileno. To Nixon, down low. See if they try and get it over to Holmes so he can unleash that laser beam of a shot he has. Nixon back to Mileno. Over to Holmes. Here it comes. Goal. I mean, what are you supposed to do, right? And for all you Canadian fans back home who are rooting for this gentleman, Jacob Holmes, I got to tell you, if he doesn't have the hardest shot in the tournament, he's certainly top 3. I mean, I've called virtually every game. Obviously, ISBHF President Elio Pascuzzo has called some games. Got to try and keep the vocal cords going here. Still got 4 more games to call, including the women's gold medal match coming up next, U.S. and Czech Republic. So, hey, hats off to the Czech Republic. They end up making the gold medal match again for the men. They lost to Canada in 2022 in the ball. The women now make the gold medal match here in beautiful Visp. Switzerland trying to bring it up through the neutral zone, poke checked away, and again, that's just inexperience, right? You got to know who you're up against, folks. For all you Swiss fans at home, believe me, and I've said this before in several of their games, especially in the comeback game against the Czech, if this core can stay together, they're going to be a contender for years to come. This is a young team, and they're only going to get better. I just can't say enough good things about head coach Tibor Kapanik. I mean, you know, he's inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. There's a reason the guy's a Hall of Famer in the coaching category. You know, he knows how to motivate men. He knows how to develop schemes, how to lead men, as made man uses the Jets. Good pad save there. Kicked off into the far boards. Killian Georgian doing what he can to try and keep his team within reach. As the rebound comes off backboards, battle behind the net. And Switzerland gains his own shot. Seen the whole way by Lanton, just kicks it back out to main man. Main man tries to use those Jets again. Just drops it off to himself. Centering attempt, nobody there. Looked like he was trying to catch Raji there on a break towards the net. Towards the near board, Switzerland trying to chip it out, can't. Kept in at the point by Churchwell, dumped down in, but blocked by Switzerland. Trying to gain the Canadian zone, they can't. Good poke check. Main man with it. Ball still bouncing around here through the neutral zone. Finally picked up by Switzerland, running out of time with 6 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here in the third period of the men's semifinal matchup. Winner will play the Czech Republic along with Canada, looking like the two powerhouses of this tournament. I got to tell you, in terms of the Czech Republic, I mean, you talk about just a physically dominant team that, you know, when you get into the boards with them, boy, it's just physically overwhelming. It's so hard to get off the ball. Every player, it seems, is big and strong. I mean, they're just built solidly. And if you saw them in the previous game against the United States, right? You know, an example is a lot of times when there's loose balls, right? Players go to jostle for position. It just seemed like the United States kept getting bumped off the ball. And listen, I'm from the United States. I'm not saying anything disparaging about my countrymen. You know, they gave it everything they had. They hung with them, right, for the better part of, you know, 2 periods. And then in the third, the Czech just pulled away. Ended up finishing the game 7-1. And a lot of it had to do with their ability to just, you know, win those battles along the board. So if we fast forward to tomorrow in the men's gold medal matchup and just make an assumption here that Canada will hang on for the victory, up 6-0 here with 5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. It's going to be interesting to see how Canada tries to counter that. You know, Canada certainly has some large gentlemen, not as quite as large all around as the Czech Republic. I would say overall Canada is the faster team. They seem to be more sharp with the ball. Typical of Canadians, right? They're good passers, as you see a centering attempt here. Good pad save by Georgian. Off the stick of number 97, Christian Magnus. So it will be interesting to see what the coaches do after looking at the videotape here on the Czech Republic and for Canada, respectively. I'm certainly by no means any stretch of the imagination am I a hockey coach. I'll leave that to the experts like George Tarantino and Tibor Kapanik, you know, Corey Hertzk, Jason Cormier for Canada. But if I could imagine myself as Switzerland gets a break in here and then broken up by Holmes, if I could imagine myself as a hockey coach and I was coaching Canada, I would say, listen, let's just be sharp on our outlet passes and make sure we control the neutral zone so that we don't have to dump it in deep. Because if we have to dump it in deep and we have to go into the corner, there's a good chance that the Czechs are going to win the majority of those battles simply based on how they play. So if we're crisp on our outlet passes and we can control the neutral zone, we will have good opportunities to develop scoring chances once we gain possession inside the Czech zone. And then, you know, again, go ahead and, my favorite expression, right, pull a John Madden here and state the obvious. If we get the man advantage, we have to capitalize. As Mulcahy walks in and buries his own rebound there to make it 7-0 and put a ribbon on this one. You know, anybody who's been around ball hockey a long time will tell you when it comes to, you know, the best of the best of the best, oftentimes it's decided by special teams. You know, the team that stays out of the box oftentimes is the team that wins, but if you end up in the box and you can kill those penalties and you get opportunities on net when you are on the power play, you can bury those. That can be the difference between taking home the gold versus taking home the silver. So that's what I would do if I was Canada. Focus on neutral zone play, crisp outlet passes, make sure that we don't have to dump it in deep, try and go battle the Czechs along the boards. Now conversely, if I'm the Czechs, I think the #1 thing here is stay out of the box. No penalties. Do not give this lethal Canadian power play any opportunities. Above all else, play smart hockey. And when we have the ball, let's try and dump it deep, get down to the Canadian zone, and use our size and strength advantage, win those individual battles, and get the ball to our better players, right? You know, Jan Čeka leading their team in scoring. You know, Lucas Loda playing outstanding for the Czech Republic. And make sure that, you know, when these players have the ball, right, that we're giving them the ball in a way that they can continue to use their momentum to create space. You know, guys like Čeka, Loda, they don't need a lot of space. You saw that in the U.S. game. I mean, that one goal that Čeka scored, right, on his own rebound, it just, you know, picked a spot that was probably 4 inches wide, just dead center. I mean, there was nothing goaltender Andrew Carter could do on it as Switzerland breaks through the zone here. Looking for a one-timer attempt. Shot goes high over Lanton. Canadian player loses their stick, gathers it back up. Center attempt goes wide onto the stick of Raron. So that's what I would say if I was a coach for both teams. I am as excited as anybody else to see how that game plays out. Can Canada defend the title? There's probably going to be more Czech fans than there are Canadian fans. So if there were to be a home floor advantage, I would give it to the Czech Republic. You know, a lot of Canadians have made the trip here, but obviously the Czech Republic is within driving distance. So there's just going to be more Czech Republic fans here. Not going to make a prediction on that game right now. Just don't know how it will shake out. As Canada, under 2 minutes left in the game here. Centering attempt, shot, save off the stick of main man. And again, for those unfamiliar with the sport of ball hockey, you might say, well, this is a little unsportsmanlike. I mean, what's Canada doing firing balls on net here? They're up 7-0. Why aren't they just killing time? Listen, they're about to play the gold medal game tomorrow. It's so hard to make a world championship final. It's so hard to make a world championship roster as main man fires it off the draw. And another save there by Ziorchin. You want to bring good habits into the gold medal game. So if you're out there and you're Team Canada and the coach puts you out on the floor, he expects you, right, to play as if it's a 0-0 game, right? Because what you do frequently, right, in these tournaments is what you tend to do in the later, or pardon me, early in the tournament. It's what you tend to do in the later part of the tournament. So continue to develop good habits, right? Make sure you're sharp. You know, as you know, you see Canada, right? I mean, they're making crisp passes here, right? They're just smart with the ball, head up the whole time. So under a minute left now, and the Swiss fans continue to applaud their Swiss team here, ringing the bell. So the Swiss will face the United States in a rematch of the opening match of the tournament, which seems like eons ago for me. I feel like I've called 1,000,001 games since then, but U.S. played sharp that opening night. It was 4-2. They absolutely deserved the win against the Swiss on that night. Brandon Jones ended up with player of the game. I know he's battling some injuries right now. But, you know, the bronze medal game, which will take place before the final. We have 3 games tomorrow. The first game will be the men's B pool final, which will be Italy and Lebanon. And then the bronze medal game of the A pool, which will be the United States against his hometown, Switzerland. And then the gold medal matchup, Czech Republic and Canada in a rematch of the 2022 gold medal game. So for that bronze medal game, you know, if I'm Switzerland and I'm, you know, Tibor Kapanik, I say, listen, gentlemen, right, we just got beat by a better team. There's no shame in that, okay? There's no shame. Don't hang your heads. Don't feel like you blew this game, okay? You got beat 7-0 by the defending champs. It's hard to win at this level, okay? Use this as a learning experience, right? And put it behind you. When you go to bed tonight, forget about it. Wake up tomorrow, it's a new day. You got a game to play. We still have a chance to go home with some hardware. And let's try and do that, as that'll do it for this game. So your final here, Canada 7, Switzerland nothing. Swiss fans continue to applaud their team. Canada goes over to congratulate Christian Lantz. Hits the shutout here. And just to finish my thought on Switzerland, right? You know, it's a new day. It's the first time you've made the medal round in modern ball hockey history since 2001. You know, back when there were only 8 teams. So you don't know how hard it is to get to this level, right? Until you get here. Now you know how hard it is to get here, right? You had to come back against Greece down 2-0, right? You had to take the Czechs to a shootout to get the extra point. You know, a lot of things had to go right. So just put it behind you. Come back tomorrow. And play the game you know you're capable of playing against the United States. You know, you match up well with them. Yes, they beat you on opening night, but that was, right, that's a different team. Okay, that was the first game of the tournament. You have home field advantage. Use it to, you know, to the best of your ability. Play with a lot of high energy. And give it your all, right? That, you know, that should be the messaging for this young team. You know, for Canada, hey, great job, right? I tip my cap to you. Going up against the Czech tomorrow, you know, look at the video review, right? You know, do some scouting, see if there's anything you see that the Czech may be weak at. You know, maybe some things you can take advantage of, and continue to do what you're doing. You're playing really well. You're the #1 seed and the defending champs for a reason, as they announce best players here.
Member of the organization committee, the World Championship Ball in 2024 in Visp and Raron.
And I should also congratulate the Czech women. I mean, I think I did earlier in terms of, you know, making the final again. They were the finalists in 2022, right? So we have rematches of the gold medal games from 2022 in both the, pardon me, not rematches. We have the Czech Republic making the gold medal game in both events, 2022 and 2024. So best player for Switzerland, #9, Rafael Ciotto. Congratulations to that young man. Outstanding hustle all tournament. Looking forward to see what he brings in the final match against the United States tomorrow. Well, no surprise there, Trevor Mayman. Guy was just all over the floor today. Turned on the afterburner several times, and you know, those 2 goals he scored in the second period, boy, those were beauties. They really were. Main man from British Columbia. Congratulations to him. Look forward to seeing how he does tomorrow against this physical Czech Republic team. So the next match, all right, it's our gold medal game in the women's division. We have new rules here at the ISBHF this year, and the reason the women's gold medal game is taking place tonight, not tomorrow, is because we want to allow, if the game goes in overtime, continuous overtime. There will be no shootout. They will play until there is a winner. So that'll be it for me. Take a break, rest the vocal cords. Go ahead and hydrate as they start the Canadian National Anthem. Appreciate it, everybody. We'll see you back here for the start of the women's gold medal game. Your final score, Team Canada 7, Team Switzerland 0.
Zwischen Team Champion und den USA bleibt noch ein bisschen in der Arena. Aber draußen ist dafür gesorgt, mit Essen und Trinken oder der Sportler. Herzlichen Dank für eure Fragen. Wir sehen uns noch